Hello, YouTube. Today we are going over Acidic Snow, a Moze that was redeemed over on Twitch by one of the viewers. They wanted to see a purple tree Moze that is taking advantage of Cryo and Corrosive weapons. With that in mind, we went ahead and made this build and decided to mainly take advantage of superior firepower. So we're really leaning hard into that cryo side of things. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the build. The Boogeyman, Soul Render, and Flipper were really the big pulls for me in this build. The Prompt Critical is going to get you a lot, same with the Unkempt Herald, Beacon, Flipper, or sorry, Kibsworth. They all give great splash damage, and of course with Moze, splash damage is just kind of crazy. So we took advantage of all of that, but I really found myself liking the Boogeyman, Soul Render, and the Flipper as the main three kind of carries for this. And we are running the consecutive hits and URAD. So in between bossing and mobbing, I was kind of running two different things. I preferred the Snowdrift Deathless or the Atom Bomb Deathless for mobbing, and I really liked the Snowdrift Victory Rush for bossing. And the idea behind that is with the URAD Anoint for mobbing, getting all of those explosions, rad explosions going off. It really just took advantage of all of that radiation damage, and that was kind of the idea for mobbing there. As always, I like to run an EMP5 specifically for movement speed. The Old God Cryo, so that we get extra cryo damage from using our guns. And I would like to run the Iron Bear's cooldown rate on that. The recurring Hex with on grenade throw. So anytime we're throwing a grenade, we get extra damage for our weapons grenade. And of course, Cub or Bear, depending on what you're using there. For Calm, I kind of switch in between the Flame and the Rocketeer. I like to take advantage of Auto Bear in some cases, but mainly really just liked taking advantage of Cub and the reset on the running on fumes here that is just given to us on the Flamecom. So make sure that your Flamecom has the splash damage radius rule. The splash damage is a big plus and the action skill damage is a big plus, but you really want to make sure that you have your splash damage radius and the running on fumes roll on your flame. Outside of that, pretty much any other roll is going to be fine. As far as skill tree goes, we are 1 in biofuel for anytime we ignite an enemy. Both Moze and Iron Bear or Iron Cub regenerate health. 3 in big surplus, so anytime that Cub is down, we can go ahead and take advantage of the increase in our incendiary damage. 5 in really big guns for the extra damage to Cub. 3 in double time, so that anytime Cub is out, we get extra movement speed. 5 in Harmonious Havoc for the increase in gun damage for each of the elements that are the same. And while we don't have the MP5 with Cryo because it doesn't come in Cryo, the others are main, and the Flipper's primary is Cryo, along with the Cryo Old God and the Cryo Hex to make sure we're getting the most we can out of Harmonious Havoc. 1 in Fired Up, so that anytime we do apply a status effect, we do get some increased fire rate. 2 in Nitronium Engines, and that is for the extra fuel. 1 in Never Going to Give You Up for the extra fuel return anytime that we're adding a status effect to an enemy. 1 in Feature Creep for the extra damage and resistances for Cub. 1 in Superior Firepower, and this is the big thing we're really taking advantage of in Purple Tree outside of our point and running on fumes from our comm, so that we can get Cub back faster, is anytime that we inflict a status effect, we gain increased status effect damage, which is also higher for Cryo. That doesn't, it's not listed on the card. However, we did find out that for Cryo, there is actually an extra bonus on top of that. 5 in Fire in the Stag's Den for the extra splash damage and incendiary damage. 3 in deadlines so that Cub is draining less fuel, 3 in means of destruction for any time that we're dealing splash damage, we have ammo regeneration and we have a chance to get a grenade back, 5 in toward cross promotion for the splash damage and the splash damage radius, 5 in stainless steel bear for the extra armor damage and fuel for bear and Cub, 1 in pull the holy pin so that our grenades can crit, 1 in auto bear, and this point can be moved. If you would prefer moving that to explosive punctuation, why can't I carry all these grenades, or another point and pull the holy pen, that would be perfectly fine. However, with using the Rocketeer and kind of switching in between for specific circumstances, like Slaughter Shaft, I really like having Rocketeer so that I can throw Bear up on one of the crates and have extra range there. It's nice to have Auto Bear in, just to give you a little bit of options comm-wise. 1 in Vampire for the regeneration on grenades for our health. 1 into the last so that we can throw grenades and fight for your life. And 1 in short fuse so that we can get extra explosion chances and damage, so that we get more splash damage out of our weapons. 1 in Security Bear for the damage reduction to Cub and the bubble shield for Iron Bear, 4 in Armored Infantry for the extra gun damage, 4 in Cloud of Lead for the extra incendiary damage, 1 in Daka Bear for the increase in bear damage and Cub damage, 3 in Stoke the Embers for the increase to the incendiary damage, 1 in Redistribution for some ammo regeneration and health regeneration, 1 in Scrappy for the extra weapon damage, 5 in Scorching RPMs for the fire rate and critical hit damage, and 1 in Specialist Bear so that whenever we have the same weapon types included on Bear, we get extra damage. So the best way to put that is if you have Bear on, as long as you are using Railgun and one of these, you will always have an increase in damage. All 3 of the augments here to Railgun count as the same weapon. So if you did Railgun and Bearfist on off chance, so if you look something like this, then that will not have extra damage. And the biggest and greatest thing there is that Cub counts as having the same ones equipped, since it can only equip 1. And that is our tree. As always, I like to point out that I do have all of the Guardian rank perks unlocked, so if you don't have things like Hollow Point and Groundbreaker, you can see a difference in your damage. With that, let's go ahead and showcase the build, and we will see you on the other side. Alright guys, that has been the showcase for our acidic snow build. If you have anything you'd like to see next, leave a comment down in the comment box down below. If you are on PC, there will be a link to the Discord in the description where you can pick up the file for this build. With that guys, I've been your local sassy SwinLaw. Stay classy, Pandora.